Hey everybody, welcome back. Yep, we're doing a different location. We just keep testing this out just to see, well, keep you guys on your toes. How's that? All right, so here's the thing. New construction, it's up year over year, 18.5%. And some people are going, what? Mortgage rates, they held their own. They didn't start inching up. They kind of staying flat, came down a tad bit because of some of that volatility in the market. And we were going to go over that. Plus, how best to kind of navigate today's crazy little market. Because here's the thing. I just had a conversation yesterday with a couple of agents and a couple of buyers and one seller. And they're like, did you know that multiple offers are back? Doesn't it seem like the market is doing better than what you're seeing and hearing out in the media and on the the internet with some of these people? And of course I laugh and I'm like, yes, because you have to understand our market here locally is different than it is nationally. So with that, remember to go ahead and subscribe, smash that subscribe button. yes, I know people kind of make fun of me about that, but that's all right. Well, whatever. Share it with the people that you actually like, and let us know what questions that you have, because being interactive, well, that's part of what this is. If you guys have questions, ask and we will answer. And in fact, if it takes a more involved answer, you'll get a personal video just like this, like many of our clients do, to help them really kind of navigate what's going on. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the market itself. Look at this. So Friday, as we know, is a big list day. So we have 869 new listings that came on market. That's going to be important here a little bit later in the conversation. Plus, we've got 1,313 pended, and then, of course, 818 that have actually closed. Now, remember, we do have roughly about a 9% fall off of listing or sales that cancel. All right. Now, it's super cool to understand that even though Friday numbers are always better for new on market, because Friday is the most popular day to come on market, statistically speaking, you have a 60% greater chance of going under contract. For sellers, there's some really good information for you. For buyers, Thursday is your better day to consider, should I look at purchasing a piece of property? Why? Because many times Friday is a price reduction day. And if you're going to capture a seller before, logically they look like they just took a discount, you need to make that happen before that price reduction, or they will anchor on that price reduction. There's a seller tidbit, there's a buyer tidbit. Just keep that in mind. Now, both of you guys pay attention to what's coming up here, because here's the thing. We head off to our next slide here. You can tell that we are sitting in our normal seasonal market, but look at this. All right. So what we've got when we take a look at the left-hand side, current year to date, you can see that our inventory over over February, I should say, is up 1.5%, which is actually low. We should actually have more. In fact, if you go to the right-hand side, you can see where I hand wrote a 1. So we have 6,842 homes for sale today. Last year at this point, we had 3,611. And what's super interesting about that is that was horrifically low. That meant that we had like 10 days of homes available on the market to sell. In other words, if I have a bucket, okay, and I call this bucket the Northwest MLS, and all sellers, all listing agents put their homes in this bucket, boop, I put a lid on it, I should have 4 to 6 months of inventory in this bucket to sell, right? And what we're saying is, last year at this time, we had 10 days of inventory, all right? Now, yes, remember, April is when this changes, okay? But today, we have 1.6 months of inventory. In October, November, we had almost 2.5, 2 3/4 months of inventory. Didn't quite hit the 3, but it was really boop, boop, bumping up against it. And then mid-October, it started dropping back down. Right now, we're at 6,000 homes. So when we take a look at the chart here, you can see where I put a 1 in front of the 6, because we should be cresting on 16,000 homes, not 6,000 homes. There's a disparity when you look at it year over year. You see that 5,000. That's 5,000 fewer homes available today, year to date, than there was last year. Okay, people, if you haven't figured it out, we have an inventory issue that has returned. We have super, super smart buyers. Sellers, pay attention. Yes, we're seeing multiple offers. Yes, well-priced homes that are selling between 0 and 7 to 10 days are getting between 100 and 107% of list price. Well-priced homes. Okay. Why is that? Why do I keep kind of banging on that? Because when we come back to this chart right here, where you see prices reduced 329, okay, well, that just goes to show you that we've got a wee bit of an issue when we have a perception of value to what the buyers think is existing. In other words, if you have sentimental value of your home, or what we call sentimental equity, the value of sentimental equity is 0. I'm just saying. You know, I just had a conversation this morning with the seller, and he's adamant that his house is worth more than really it probably is. Okay, that's fine. That's your perception. The buyers will be very clear on what they think of the market, but sellers, pay attention to this. So I've been practicing for 30 years. So unlike like 10 or 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, okay, a home would come on market and we had no qualms about presenting an offer lower than list price. Okay, it was just normal. Okay, and then if there were multiple offers, you start going up. Right now, if you come on market overpriced, nay, buyers will just sit there. They'll watch your property. They won't do anything about it. They will not make an offer on your home until you start reducing that price. When you start reducing that price, then you're in a negative negotiating position instead of a positive negotiation where there's a greater desire for gain when there's a sense of loss. Multiple offers creates that sense of loss. People will stretch further for that home. If there's no sense of loss, then people have no greater need for gain. They will wait you out to the best price. And we are very successful with our clients looking at homes been on the market longer than 20, 30 days because of that perception. All right. Keep that in mind. All right. Moving on. When we take a look at the next slide here, so let's pop in here. So Redfin talks about the fall through rate, which is roughly about 9% of what we're seeing today. Totally normal. We don't close 100% of all transactions. I think that would be unrealistic. However, being at 9%, that's super low. Last year at this time, it was about 4.5%. But we also had super low interest rates. People were still, it was a much even less inventory rate. But today, even at 9%, that's pretty low. That's low. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, let's take a look at this chart. So in April, that's when the mortgage rate started going up. Note our inventory. Okay, so in April, which is just a few days away, the month end inventory was 5,657. We had 10,000 homes that came on market during that time. Note, when we take a look at new listings for March, right next to it, new listings on March was 9,597. And we're not even there yet with ours today. The average inventory for sale, or not the average, but at the end of the month, homes for sale was 3,611. Why is that important? Because understand, when interest rates started going up, people started pulling back. Buyers started pulling back. Inventory started to creep up. Okay, we have been drawing down inventory for every home that's coming on market. 2 are going off. Okay. Except for, overpriced homes. There's still a number of canceled, still a number of expired, and there's folks that are, that have reduced. And then, of course, we have our back on market. All options for a seller to make sure that they pay attention to, and for a buyer to take advantage of if they have an agent that is tracking all of that for them. All right, let's hit the next one here. Let's talk about new construction. This is a big deal. Look at this number. Holy mackerel. So even the same point, month over month, we're up 33%. March over March, 22 to 23, right? And solds, even though they're down a tad bit, they're only down just like a few. But look at the year to date. Year to date is up 18.5% on pended. And even though we're down just a couple of hundred on the actual sales, but look at the inventory of what's on market. So last year, year to date, we had 576 new construction available. Right now we have 1,791, and we had roughly about 500 more homes coming on as far as new listings. As you can see, we have 21% increase in inventory, and the market is just pulling it off and pulling it off. You might be saying, George, what the heck? What's going on? Why? Okay, first, interest rates really rallied, which isn't all of it because we've been seeing this since November. The builders are seeing that the buyers are coming back, and with the limited inventory, their inventory coming down and fewer options out there, buyers are looking more aggressively at new construction. And besides, with new construction, especially the ones that have to report to shareholders, they are actually offering a lot of incentives. They're not adjusting price necessarily, although Toll Brothers out in Sammamish just did a couple of their homes, their move-in ready homes. They did a $200,000 price reduction. Now, those of you that are on our service, you were notified of that a week ago, so that you knew that that was coming forward. And of course, that was made public yesterday. So if you're looking at a mid $2.2 million property, you can now save $200,000 on new construction, just FYI. All right, out in Sammamish. Ping me if you want to know more information about that. All right. Here's the thing. New construction is absolutely doing incredibly well. And in fact, nationwide, new construction is up 1.1% nationwide. And there's a few folks out there that are saying bad things about new construction, whatever. But understand, it is still plugging right along. And that is super important to understand. When we take a look at this, it talks about the 1.1% rise in February. Remember, these big national systems, they have to wait for numbers. Unlike you guys on this channel, you get real-time information. That's the super great part about this. This is real time, single family only. We do not include condos. We don't include vacant land. We don't include manufactured homes, on leased land. We don't include multifamily or commercial investments. The bulk of what this specific show covers is single family homes. If you want others, that's a different bit of information that we send out. Let us know if you're interested in that. But this is single family only and in real time. It doesn't get any more real than our most of the time twice a week update, which gives you guys an idea of where you're at, where you're trending, so that you know exactly how to respond accordingly. This report here, super cool. Just let you know that even on a national level, right, that the builders and new construction out there is doing incredibly well. And it says the median price of new homes sold during the month of March on a national level actually jumped. From what I can see here, that's about $11,000, $12,000. Okay. Now you might say, George, that's not a big deal. Okay, when their price point is 1/3 of where ours is, it becomes a little bit more of a deal. But anyway, still, it's that positive direction when everything is supposed to be, well, in controversy, in flux. There's a word, flux. Now, if only I knew how to bring in the Back to the Future, the flux capacitor, then we could do that. But I don't know how to do that. Anyway, all right, well, we'll figure it out. Let's talk about some bank-owned for our bank-owned clients, banks and credit unions. Look, the numbers are still absolutely awesome. Yes, we have seen a slight increase in notice of defaults and notice of quote-unquote foreclosure. But as you can see, those numbers are super low, 49 across half of Washington state. That is next to nothing. We are still one of the 5 targeted markets, the sweet spot, as they say. And our properties, because our values are holding, our inventory is low. Listen, they're putting their home on the market. Boop, well priced. It's going off market with multiple offers. We had one just the other day. They ended up getting over list price. It was an absolute disaster of a home. But I'll tell you, when you've got 9 other investors coming in and all paying cash for, north of 550,000, that tells you something, that there's pent up demand and there's money still out there. So don't, for the folks out there thinking, I'm going to buy a foreclosure because I can get a discount. It doesn't happen. Banks are not discounting those properties at all. They are paint, carpet, vinyl, getting market value for them. And as we instructed them also. So there's great opportunities out there. You just have to be very patient with that to make sure that that happens. When we run over here, here's our mortgage chart. This gives you an idea, and again, to hammer home for folks that it is a publicly traded thing. So when we look at this, our rates for the 30-year fix came down 0.06. This is as of the 24th, which is yesterday, right? Mortgage rates inched down to lowest level since early February, which is what we call that awesome sauce, right? Here's your publicly traded elements. So these are your MBS, stands for mortgage-backed securities, in your treasury. Note the treasury went down, bonds went up, the upper two bonds went up, rates held firm. They kept their gains. Now remember, when we take a look at that, the 10-year treasury is a great thing to monitor. As the 10-year treasury comes down, mortgage rates come down with it, bonds improve, mortgage rates come down also. You flip those, mortgage rates go up. It's publicly traded and super important to watch. Now, this is a little bit of support with that. Bonds, when we take a look at the bonds, hold their gains. And everything has been driven by the risk on, risk off. Basically, as they've been looking at movements relating to the banking sector over the last 2 weeks, hey, they've been really crazy, right? U.S. bonds managed to hold some of the gains with a 3.382 emerging as a pivot point for the 10-year treasury. Now, on their 10-year yields there. Listen, when we talk about, that mortgage rates are not controlled by the feds definitely have an impact on it. And this is kind of unique because, the feds, when we say sometimes the feds will increase rate, as they did, quarter of a rate on Wednesday, but rates actually came down. So they did the inverse of what the feds did. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And during a volatile market, when they talk about, risk is, oh, great risk, move into bonds, rates come down. Oh, no risk, move back into the market. Bonds come down, mortgage rates go up. Okay. Those are things that you need to watch, especially depending on what's going on the global level and our local number, depending on when certain numbers come out. So remember, if you've got questions, make sure to come in and ask, because we will get answers to you typically within about 30 minutes, especially if I'm drinking my coffee-osaurus or tea-osaurus. Anyway, here's the Freddie Mac. They're at 6.42, a little bit higher than some of the other market rates that you've seen. Not unnormal. I guess that would be normal. Anyway, so there we go. Remember, subscribe, like, and share. Smash the subscribe button. Hey, besides, we have a lot of fun. There's no selling here. We help out buyers and sellers to understand how best to navigate this market, so to protect you, your family, and your equity. In the meantime, it's going to be a beautiful day today. I will see you guys on the next video, and stay safe. Take care.